Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And very good afternoon to everyone. Once again, I would like to welcome everyone. I think today we have a very insightful discussion. Even we have differences in terms of our views, but hopefully by having this conference, we will have a more meaningful dialogue. And Alhamdulillah, I think since the morning, we already covered almost 4 main topics on the peaceful coexistence, the way forward for Afghanistan, the cautious optimism of the future of Afghanistan, peace, reconciliation, and reintegration for Afghanistan, understanding the new reality of Afghanistan. And currently, the topic that we are going to discuss today is basically the rebuilding the Afghanistan role of friendly countries. Ladies and gentlemen, the Taliban, swift return to power after 2 decades, has left Afghanistan's neighbor scrambling to figure out how to adjust to a shifting geopolitical outlook. As for now, what we see is basically from an international perspective and community mostly take a position, stand as a wait and see approach before recognizing its role. But at the same time, there is a clear indication from the current interim government to encourage other countries to establish a good neighbor relationship with Afghanistan new leaders. We have with us today 2 representatives from Qatar and Pakistan. Interestingly, Qatar was not among the 3 countries like Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Pakistan, which the few countries that recognized the group as a legitimate government when they were last in power back then in 1996. Pakistan held a significant amount of leverage and influence over the Taliban in the past. But the Gulf country, Qatar, also did not join the US-led coalition to fight the Taliban after 9/11 attack in 2001. Doha was not only the place where the agreement was signed, but it also becoming a mediating force between the Washington and the Taliban, which has maintained a political office in Qatar since 2013. And he reached a new level from a mediator to providing support and humanitarian aid to Afghanistan. Meanwhile, Pakistan's role in Afghanistan has attracted widespread scrutiny in recent weeks. Of course, there are many issues pertaining to this. Perhaps we can have more engagement with both leaders representing Qatar as well as Pakistan. Pakistan continue to demonstrate a constructive role in Afghanistan, including facilitating peace that is Afghan-led and owned among many economic humanitarian efforts. Our mission in Kabul is working tirelessly to issue CIMB visa, of course, representing Pakistan. Currently, alhamdulillah, with the help and assistance from our Pakistan, our team, Global Peace Mission, managed to enter Kabul safely. So without further ado, I would like to introduce our 2 respected ambassadors who are here joining us together. His Excellency Mr. Fahad bin Muhammad Kafut, Ambassador of the State of Qatar. Basically, I just want to elaborate some of his academic qualification. He's Bachelor in Economy and Accounting, University of Qatar. He's basically worked at the Administrative and Financial Directorate, posted as Ambassador of the State of Qatar in various countries like in Washington, D.C., 1 year, then appointed as a General Coordinator at the Office of the Minister of Foreign Affairs from 2009 to 2014, and appointed as an ambassador to the State of Qatar to Canada, almost 4 years, and appointed as the ambassador to the State of Qatar to Malaysia since 2018. So without further ado, I would like to first hand over this session to His Excellency Mr. Fahad Muhammad Kafut. Please, sir.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Thank you for hosting me today. Allowed me to go back a few years ago. Since the beginning, Qatar have confidence that peaceful dialogue is only way to find a peaceful solution, as the talk resulted in agreement between United States and Taliban group. In 2011, Obama administration allowed a group of Taliban officials to move to Qatar, where they would be charged with laying with the groundwork face-to-face negotiation with the former Afghan government. In 2013, as you mentioned, Taliban office Doha office was formally opened. 2018, the Trump administration began a formal direct talk with Taliban group in Doha, and they signed a deal in February 2020 that set the stage to end American longest war. And by last August, US NATO coalition withdrawal from Afghanistan is completed. Since the US pulled out last month, Qatar has helped to evacuate both foreigner and Afghans engaged a new Taliban ruler and supported operation at the Kabul airport with Qatar Airways aircraft, making several trips to the capital in order to fly and aid a ferry out passport holder. Qatar, out of its sense of humanitarian duty, rushed up to help evacuate more than 60,000 people from Kabul to Qatar, including 1,800 were family, NGOs, staff, journalists, athletic, children, and many other women whom felt where they were in danger. Since they arrived, we provide them with a temporary housing, meals, and healthcare, as well as providing vaccine for the emerging coronavirus. And I need to mention that all members of the Afghani Dreams, that's all girls robotic team from Afghan city of Herat, were safely evacuated to Qatar. They received a scholarship from Qatar Foundation and Qatar Fund for Development to continue their education in Qatar Foundation universities, continuing to reflect Qatar's deep commitment to ensuring that children of all ages should enjoy the right of education. Qatar has dispatched a technical assistant team to repair and reopen Kabul airport. As assistance is underway, we have not yet reached any long-term agreement regarding the management and operation of this airport. What has been fixed so far at Kabul airport enable the airport to receive a private charter flights, noting that humanitarian flights are used as a test of the airport readiness, and number of the criteria have been identified that must be met, especially with regard to the security aspect in order to use the airport in a traveler flight, which need an agreement with Taliban and is under negotiation. Qatar sent 5 airplanes loaded with the relief aids. A total volume reached 118 tons of medical and food materials. His Excellency, the Deputy Prime Minister and the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdul Rahman, has met recently several foreign ministers such as Iran, Pakistan, Turkey, Russia, and Afghanistan, United States, Britain, Germany, France, Italy, Spain, and recently he has the phone discussion with the Malaysian Foreign Minister to discuss about continuing of the Doha effort to support the stability of Afghanistan. His Excellency Sheikh Mohammed retreat Qatar's solidarity with Afghani people and support for their effort to achieve their legitimate demands for stability, security, peace, and development. We in Qatar believe that comprehensive and sustainable peace is the main key to stopping the humanitarian crisis, and that it is also critical to achieving all sustainable development goals, which is related to the quality of education and a lifelong learning opportunity for all. Qatar encourage all the transitional government and Afghani leader to form more intensive government that represent everyone. Qatar conveyed the importance of respecting human rights and the vital role of Afghani women in the development of Afghanistan. It is unacceptable for us to see any mistreatment of women in Afghanistan, and it cannot be tolerated to see Afghanistan transferring again to be a breeded ground for the terrorist organization. We invite the current government to follow the lead of many Islamic countries, including Qatar, where women fully and constructively exercise their right and represent the largest segment of the workforce in the country, as women enrollment in higher education. The state of Qatar encouraged the Taliban government to interact with the international community in various aspects, particularly the political and economic aspect. We emphasize the importance of to continue support of the international committee to Afghanistan at this critical stage, and to separate the humanitarian aids from a political difference, the necessary of continuing dialogue with the Taliban to bring about positive result. Thank you very much.
Thank you, His Excellency, for your remarks. Of course, we believe that Qatar play a bigger role and vital role in this aspect. Even you can consider as a small country, but your role is indeed very significant. We would like to proceed with our second ambassador who are here with us, Her Excellency Madam Amna Baloch. I would like to introduce her. He's born in 1966. His education background is basically hold a degree of Master in History, joined the Foreign Service of Pakistan in 1991. She joined the Foreign Service of Pakistan since that, 1992-1994, section officer, and basically I would say that his diplomatic assignment to Pakistan mission abroad, including to China, some of other countries, and he's also assumed a charge as the post of High Commissioner of Malaysia on 19th of August 2019. So without further ado, I would like to invite Her Excellency to give her view on this. Thank you.
Unmute, Her Excellency.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much, Fahmi. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and a very good afternoon, everyone. At the very outset, I would like to congratulate Global Peace Mission Malaysia and the organizers of the KL conference for holding today's webinar and inviting me to speak on a subject of immense importance. Ladies and gentlemen, it would be an oversimplification if I only refer to the historical context of Pakistan-Afghanistan relations. Yes, being immediate neighbors, we share a long history, but there is more to these ties, as both countries have strong ethnic linkages, share common religion, tribal links, culture, values. We are not only neighbors, rather we are brothers and sisters. Today, Pakistan is a home to almost 4 million Afghan refugees and has remained so for the last 4 decades. They enjoy legal status in Pakistan. Despite economic constraints, the government of Pakistan continues to provide due rights for Afghan refugees, including access to health and education. Afghan refugees are a part of all social and economic activities in Pakistan. As the closest neighbor, Pakistan is an important stakeholder and has always strived for peace and stability in Afghanistan. The country that suffered the most, apart from Afghanistan, is Pakistan over the past 40 years. 80,000 Pakistanis lost their lives. $150 billion were lost to our economy. There are 3.5 million internally displaced Pakistanis. Pakistan remained the target of terrorism during the past 20 years. A war was waged on the people and the soil of Pakistan for no fault of theirs. Ladies and gentlemen, past 1 month has witnessed historical developments in Afghanistan. In early August, no one could have anticipated the turn of events, from the meltdown of security forces to the collapse of the Afghan government. As we meet today, there is a changed political reality in Afghanistan. It would not be incorrect to say that we are at a historical crossroad, and choosing the correct course is vital for peace and stability in Afghanistan. A future outcome will have profound implications for our region and world at large. Therefore, it is time to realize and seize this historic opportunity. The role of regional and global players, as well as Afghans themselves, is crucial at this stage for shaping the future of the country. As a part of the world community, we must realize that Afghanistan is at the brink of a humanitarian catastrophe. We have all seen the reports of famine, food shortages, and soaring inflation in Afghanistan. Therefore, the key priority is to prevent a humanitarian crisis that can aggravate the sufferings of the Afghans. It cannot be stressed enough that this requires enhanced engagement of international community, particularly at this pivotal juncture. A sluggish response from the international community can cause grave humanitarian consequences. Therefore, international community should join hands to provide sustainable financial support to alleviate the sufferings of Afghan people in line with the principle of international responsibility. Denying Afghanistan access to its foreign reserves, enforcement of sanctions, and other restrictive measures will only add to the miseries of the people who have already suffered immensely. It is in our collective interest that our actions do not make economic migrants of millions of Afghans. At the same time, the world should also remain cautious against the possibility of incitement and role of spoilers, both inside and outside Afghanistan, to derail efforts for peaceful Afghanistan. Ladies and gentlemen, it is also important to understand that the primary stakeholders are Afghans themselves. Afghan leadership need to take the responsibility to ensure a safe and prosperous future for the people and the country. It is very encouraging to note that Taliban have included other stakeholders, that is Tajiks, Hazara and Uzbeks, in the expanded government. Taliban need to involve and engage all representatives of the people of Afghanistan to ensure continuation of peace and avoid eruption of civil war. At the same time, Taliban should honor their commitments to Afghans and international community. For example, amnesty for all, not allowing Afghan soil to be used against others, and respect for human rights, especially the women and children rights. Understandably, regional countries and the neighbors of Afghanistan also carry immense responsibility, being the most important stakeholders after the Afghans themselves. The entire region will suffer if we do not get it right this time. It is very encouraging to note that regional countries have realized the opportunity and are working together in tandem. It is imperative that the regional countries continue their engagements aimed at delivering a holistic, comprehensive, and harmonized response. Ladies and gentlemen, Prime Minister of Pakistan has a deep understanding and insight into the matters relating to Afghanistan. He has always maintained that there was no military solution to Afghan issue. Rather, working towards peace, a political solution should be sought. Ever since the announcement by the US government to withdraw its troops from Afghanistan, Pakistan has been calling for a vigorous international diplomacy in support of an inclusive settlement in Afghanistan. Now, I would like to highlight some outreach efforts of Pakistan in this regard. In line with its vision of a stable and unified Afghanistan through an inclusive political settlement, Pakistan reached out to Afghan leaders across the entire political spectrum. Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi has embarked upon a hectic diplomatic outreach since of August. He visited Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, Iran, and held extensive discussions with the leadership of these countries on common concerns and the need for a regional approach. It was also an honor for Pakistan to receive numerous high-level delegations in Islamabad as well, to discuss, understand, and coordinate action on the evolving situation in Afghanistan. Foreign Minister Qureshi also hosted and chaired a ministerial meeting with neighboring countries of Afghanistan on 8th of September. The meeting was attended by China, Iran, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, and Uzbekistan, and subsequently a joint statement was issued that aimed at helping Afghanistan. Recently, special envoys of China, Russia, and Pakistan for Afghanistan visited Kabul and held meeting with Taliban leadership. In line with instructions of Prime Minister, presently extensive consultations are being held by Foreign Minister Qureshi in New York at the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly. On its part, Pakistan has been supporting the humanitarian efforts in Afghanistan in several ways, facilitating the international evacuation effort and establishment of a humanitarian corridor for the delivery of relief goods through air and land routes. Pakistan has sent 4 plane loads of humanitarian assistance comprising food and medicines for the people of Afghanistan. In conclusion, I would like to reiterate that today's Afghanistan presents an important opportunity to the world. The recurring cycles of conflict and instability during the last 4 decades can finally be stopped through collective efforts. Past mistakes must not be repeated, and the Afghans must not be abandoned this time. The new situation requires discarding old lenses, developing new insights, and proceeding with a realistic and pragmatic approach. At the center of our endeavors must remain the well-being of the people of Afghanistan, who have suffered enormously due to conflict and instability for past 40 years. I thank you all.
Unmute your. Cannot hear you.
Yes, we can hear you. Fahimi?
Still cannot hear you, Fahmi.
I can hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Oh yes, yes, we can hear you. Very good.
And we have around 30 minutes for the discussion. So I would like to first start this session to Associate Professor Dr. Isharaf. Please, unmute, sir. Please, Doctor, you just directly ask your question so that we can have other participants to ask questions.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Are you hearing me? Is okay?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. I would like to thank the 2 honorable ambassadors, one from Qatar and another from Her Excellency from Pakistan. Both countries have contributed lots significantly to peace, stability in Pakistan, Afghanistan. It is remarkable for Muslim world as well as whole world. But I would like to make 2 questions, both of them. In our previous session, the Madam Fauzia appealed to Muslim countries, particularly OIC, to give proper solidarity. And she also said it is the moral duty of Muslim country to give solidarity, cooperation, and others. Although we are observing, we are seeing that Pakistan, Qatar have been working lots for this purpose, and Her Excellency mentioned. Now my question to High Commissioner of Pakistan and also to Qatar, will you take a special initiative to engage other members of the Muslim country and OIC to help immediately in line of your action for Afghanistan? Such an initiative can be done. The convene a special conference of OIC. Particularly, I would like to make a question to Ambassador of Qatar. Pakistan already has taken initiative to engage the neighboring countries. They engage already 4 other neighboring countries. But do you have any plan to engage other prominent Muslim countries like Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Egypt from the Middle East to help in line of you and Pakistan to take some urgent initiative for Afghanistan? Today we are observing the Malaysia already in line. Malaysian government is working hardly to engage itself for providing necessary cooperation, solidarity, and assistance. So this is a particular question to of them. Okay, thank you.
Okay, I would like to first collect the question from the participant so that both our ambassador would prepare and answer the question directly after this. Dr. Ahmad Al-Muhammadi and Dr. Muhammad Zain Kandar. Then we continue with both answer from His Excellency. So Dr. Ahmad Al-Muhammadi, please.
Thank you very much. First, I would like to thank Her Excellency Amna for the role of Pakistan in bringing peace to Afghanistan. I have seen that Pakistan have suffered a lot, of course, 20 years ago during 9/11, and after that it has suffered the consequences of being a partner with the United States. Pakistan has been subjected to attacks from various internal groups inside Pakistan itself, but it's still continue committed to the mission of peace. I congratulate you for that. I'd like to address the question to the Ambassador of Qatar. We also have seen Qatar has playing a key role in Middle East these days. It's in my opinion that Qatar has taken what they call swimming against the tide, while other people are turning away from groups such as Taliban, but Qatar is taking the position of engaging with Taliban as well as Pakistan. What actually the motivation of Qatar? What is the what they call the purpose of Qatar engaging with this kind of group? Is it because of Qatar has seen the potential in this group to be the partner of peace? Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ahmad Al-Muhammadi. Now, Dr. Muhammad Zain, please. Unmute you first.
The organizer, okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah, very good speech, and we would like to thank both our ambassadors of both countries, which is already involved in very good support to Afghanistan people. And I'm representing universities, academics, and as well as I'm chairman of ISCO, International Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization of Malaysia. We work basically with other foundation and several countries, helping needy countries that in conflict to support education, sponsorship for scholarship to study in Malaysia. I would like to suggest that to help, apart from moral support and humanitarian, maybe we could think of how could we help Afghanis youth to further their study in Malaysia, as we know that we have very good infrastructure, very good institution in Malaysia that can offer to them, but we need to work together between NGOs like NGOs as well as agencies, either in Malaysia or outside Malaysia. ISCO have worked together with some foundation in Qatar as well as Kuwait, and maybe we could further this cooperation to help Afghanis youth to study in Malaysia so that they can build up their country in future, inshallah. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Muhammad Zain. So I would like to hand over to His Excellency first. Please, sir.
Well, thank you very much. I hope that I can remember the question because I couldn't able to write it. Maybe I can start with the last question regarding the cooperation that we call it in between our NGOs and Qatar with the Malaysian friend to work together in Afghanistan. I think this is a very good idea. We need to work and together, even to reduce the cost of the operation and to let more people to get the benefit of our efforts. Personally, and receiving a student in Malaysia is a very good opportunity, but I believe that we need to think seriously to do something inside Afghanistan, because that means much more people will get the benefit of this effort. Like I don't know, building schools there, or help the teacher, or what they call it, like teaching the teacher there. I believe that this effort will be more important than just receiving very few numbers of students, especially with the pandemic situation now. So it is not easy to move between country to country. So I prefer, and suggest my personal view, to focus to work inside Afghanistan more. Maybe the second question about Qatar efforts to help our brothers and sisters in Afghanistan for the peaceful situation. As I mentioned in my speech, it took a long time, roughly 7 or 6 years, back and forth discussion. We didn't select maybe you can call that Taliban, they trust us. You can put it in this way. Sometimes the negotiation is like up and down, doesn't make a straight line. Sometimes it was like suspended for many reasons. We as in our experience in many issues, we believe in open dialogue. We don't believe in boycott any group or any country. If there is anything, we have to sit on the table and discuss in a frank way. Sometimes we don't like each other, but we have to sit and face to face on the table and to discuss. We are doing our best to help the Taliban group now to settle them down. I know there's a lot of issues like women right, and we raise it with them. We discuss about that during His Excellency, my minister, when he visited Kabul, and I think they understood this subject. But I don't know. Maybe they need more time. I'm not here to defend them. I'm working here in Malaysia more than Kabul, so the Afghani files, to be frank, it's not my first file to focus. But we, as I mentioned, you can when Qatar became like a hub for the peace process, I am proud about my country, and we will continue this effort. I don't know if you're aware that most of the embassies who work in Kabul now they are working in Qatar, in Doha, and we receive mostly all the key country foreign minister. They visit Qatar, and they had like kind of direct or indirect talk with the Taliban office in Doha. So we are doing our best. I don't have a lot of information to be frank with you about what's going on now. And regarding other countries, I believe that other countries, they send a lot of human aids. It's not only Doha. I don't want to be only the superhero here on this issue. There's other countries. I think they are working in their way. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sensi. Thanks. I would like to proceed to her, Sensi. Please, maybe you have something to respond.
I would like to say that we are very happy to note that Malaysia has taken an initiative to address the humanitarian crisis that is rising in Afghanistan, and Malaysia is engaging actively in the situation on ground. So people of Malaysia and the government of Malaysia must be congratulated on that. And we are very encouraged by the response of the Malaysian people. So this shows that the Muslims across the world, they understand the pain and the difficulty of their brothers and sisters in Afghanistan. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And of course, I think based on the conversation that we have currently, we see that Pakistan also hosting a large number of Afghan refugees for so many years, I think for almost generation, and granting access to some services as well. And I think by from our friendly country like Pakistan, this is our humanitarian mission who are now safely in Kabul. So I would like to open up the another session for the question and answer. So perhaps I would like to give to Muhammad Alim. Please unmute yourself.
Fahmi, there is a disturbance on your end.
Brother Muhammad Alim, Aiman?
Yes, sure. Hi. Assalamu alaikum. I would like to have a comment of Afghanistan. From my point of view, that in the very near future, Taliban must prioritize the security sector reform. Because they should differentiate the role of civil police and the role of army in the country. Because right now the country is in the military situation, so there is not a specific rule for police and the army. And for more information, the Taliban movement actually it is the combination of three types of fighters or commanders. Number first, they are clergies, mostly in the leadership. They received the traditional, in certain extent recently, the secular educations also. Number second is the nationalist or patriotic movements. Nationalist movement Afghanistan, some of the previous Mujahideen. So the third factor or the third fighter, the characteristic is mostly armed groups, criminal gangs, or some of the tribal groups who are emerged because of the social grievances. In my previous experience, I worked in the local government in Afghanistan. We used to see the situations like in some of the time that there was some criminals or gangs. Once they committed a guilt or a crime in the society, they will find refuge in the arms of the Taliban fighters. So right now, the point I'm coming here is like Taliban. They should uphold these people. If they are coming to the city with the grudges, with that criminal minds, they will definitely harm the society. So through these things, actually, Taliban can lose their legitimacy. Also, we should not ignore that Taliban has the local legitimacy. However, they lack the external legitimacy. Yeah.
So your question, Badari?
Well, this was a comment actually for Taliban government, and besides that, I really appreciate the Malaysian initiatives, Malaysian government's initiative for launching this conference, and I hope there will be more of these conferences, these initiatives to build to rebuild Afghanistan. Thank you very much. That was
Thank you so much. I think Brother Aling directly from Kabul. Next,
so I'm in Malaysia. I'm talking from Malaysia. I'm doing my postgraduate studies.
Your background and your voice is like you are in Kabul. Sorry. Okay, next I would like to proceed with Brother Jason Leong. Then I came to Brother Rashid Zaman from Bangladesh. Then we continue the response from our ambassadors. Thank you. Brother Jason.
Thank you very much, Brother Fahmi, for the opportunity to speak. I just want to make a very quick suggestion. You know, the whole conference that we have today is entitled the Kuala Lumpur KL Conference on Afghanistan, Re-Emergence of a Nation. I just hope that this conference will not just be a talk only and no action kind of conference. Let this conference distinguish itself, differentiate itself as a conference that has got a solid action plan. So my suggestion, the Minister of Foreign Affairs has kicked off a brilliant maneuver when he appointed Brother Azam as his special advisor on Afghanistan. And congratulations also to the team by GPM that is already in Kabul on the ground, re-establishing the NGO relationship. I think the next thing that we should look at is actually Malaysia has that expertise. Malaysia was a nation that was formed in a hurry, and many nations too, as I think Tan Sri Syed Hamid mentioned, many MPs in England felt that Malaysia is going to be a failed state, experimental state, and we will never succeed. But we have proven people wrong. We have some experience in nation building, and we have some experience in quick, fast-track nation building. So I think Malaysia should provide some kind of strategic advice to the Taliban. If at all GPM can now start to engage with them and volunteer our services as a strategic advisor on how to rebuild a nation immediately in this aftermath. So next thing is that from there, perhaps we should, because the economic scenario in Afghanistan is very severe and very grim, and they need to establish trade relations immediately. So the first thing that we can do actually to help them is for Malaysia to establish a trade office there and to begin to continue our bilateral trade relations. There's not much trade in the past few years between Malaysia and Afghanistan, but I think we can do a lot more. And then at the same time too, work within a 12 to 18 months kind of time frame towards diplomatic recognition of the interim government of Afghanistan, so that there can be international recognition for them. This is important because I put in the chat, the IMF has released 200 million out of 600 million aid designed and allocated for Afghanistan. They have held back 400 million. Why? Because they say there is not enough international recognition for Afghanistan. Therefore, we do not want to release the rest of the money. So this is becoming a chicken and egg kind of situation. You can't release the money because there's no recognition. You don't recognize them, they're not going to get money. So which comes first? I think Malaysia, as a non-superpower, we can actually play a role that is, we punch above our weight in a global arena let us be an early mover, like what we did for China way back in 1970s, where Tun Razak visited China, and that established that goodwill, the great goodwill of relationship that establishes until even now. So let us perhaps learn from there and do this fast, give them the recognition as fast as possible. And the rest of it, the governance, the inclusivity, let them sort it out. You know, it is their nation. It is the nation building process. It will take many, many years for them to sort it out. But I think they will. Thank you.
Thank you to Brother Jason. I think indeed your insight is very meaningful for us also to understand that what we are doing now is not merely towards the conflict based on religion, based on races, but at the same time, I believe that by your involvement, your participation together with us, indeed represent that this conference belongs to the Malaysian General for the benefit of the Afghanistan people at large. So, Brother Sherul Zaman will be the third participant to ask the question before we move out to our ambassador to respond from the comment by our participant. Please, very short and precise, Brother Sherul Zaman. Unmute yourself.
First of all, I'd like to offer thanks to ZPM, which has taken a very good initiatives to organize this webinar on Afghanistan. And I also thank Brother Azam Abdul Rahman, who has been appointed advisor to Afghanistan to play a role on behalf of Malaysia. I also thank the two panelist speakers, ambassadors of Qatar and Pakistan, and they highlighted the overall situation. That means so far, that means Taliban government, Talibans have already formed government, and they have reached up to this point. To reach this point, that means Qatar and Pakistan played a very vital role to form this sort of government. Now, my question, I believe it is very difficult to make a balance, because facing the challenges of the superpower, neighboring countries, and all other countries, there are many interests related to their own countries, and that means countries between Afghanistan and other countries. So how far this government can manage and make balances. Another question, USA has passed a resolution to extend and expand humanitarian help to Afghanistan. Though there are bans on many issues on Afghanistan. So how far will it be helpful and convenient, and that means on behalf of Afghanistan, how far will it be beneficial to take the help of USA? Because USA occupied this country long 20 years and destroyed many establishments and lives and deaths, etc. So these are my questions and comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Zaman. Please, Her Excellency first, if you have any comment. Madam Amna? Madam Amna, okay. You can unmute first, Madam. Madam Amna, can you unmute yourself? Yeah. Okay, please.
Yeah, I will, on the issue of trade and economic relations, and I, of course, welcome the idea that was, I think, given by Jason Leong, that Malaysia should look into the possibility of opening a trade office, if not in Kabul, then at least it can be done in Islamabad initially, and that will pave the way for greater economic activity. I would like to take this opportunity to also share with you all that Pakistan offers a transit trade facility for Afghanistan. And currently, a significant amount of trade is taking place through Pakistan to Afghanistan. Yes, it would be beneficial for the Afghans in the long run to develop their own sustainable economy that will create self-reliance for the people of Afghanistan, and they would not have to depend on others for their needs and requirements. So, but at the moment, as we all can see, that the situation is quite fluid. And there is an urgent need to address the food issues. And as this morning we also discussed that winter is coming, and which would, of course, make the situation more difficult for the people of Afghanistan in the days to come. So we can start by, of course, as brothers and sisters, we all countries can chip in. There is a United Nations initiative has already pledged $100,000 US to the initiative. So I think it would be in the short run look into putting the feet. If there's any...
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Excellency, I was a negotiation with the interim government and also the Islamabad. Pakistan has lifted the 70% tax it had imposed on Afghanistan fresh fruit export. So I think what the government can do is basically to ease and to give somehow new dimension towards the cooperation between both countries. So I would like to give some space to His Excellency, Mr. Fahad Kafut, if you have something to comment from the participant views just now.
Yeah, I think, first of all, I just want to mention that my office is open for anybody or any NGOs who want to work with Qatar regarding the providing the human aids in Afghanistan. And as Her Excellency she mentioned that the winter is coming, so I think and people there they will start to suffer a lot. So so any kind of partnership between the Qatari side and Malaysian side, we will be very happy to discuss about it. There is a lot of ideas how we can work, how we can, but still I'm encouraging the Malaysian side to discuss, to start the dialogue with the Taliban government, listen to them, give them some advice. Sometime they need your advice, even that through the official channel or unofficial channel. We are doing our best, as I mentioned, from Qatar. We received 60,000 people who evacuated, and we help a lot of them to go to their final destination. Some of them still in Qatar, and some of we emerge some of them in our education system and health system. So just I want to do it in short way. We will be very happy to receive or to discuss of any idea about how we can work together to help these people. Thank you.
Thank you, His Excellency. Now we reached to the end of the session, but probably there is a request coming from our participant who still wanted to discuss with His Excellency. Maybe perhaps they want to also give some overview. So this will be the last round, the session of Q&A before we end this session. So I would like to first give the floor to Brother Gul Badshah Safi. I think he's from Afghanistan, currently in Peshawar. So please, Brother Gul Badshah Safi. Unmute yourself first. And after this, we're going to have Brother Abdul Rahim. Brother Gul Badshah. If not, we're going first to Brother Abdul Rahim. Please, brother.
Yes, Assalamu alaikum.
Yes, Walaikum salam.
Can you see me, or I should?
I cannot see you, but your voice is clear. You can proceed.
Okay, so Alhamdulillah, very informative and very large, deep information, especially from His Excellency Fakhat Khafud and His Excellency Amma Baloch. So actually the first one thing is just recently the Deputy Chairman of the Security Council of the Kyrgyz Republic, Talat Begman Sadikov, visited Kabul. And he's met the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Taliban, Amir Khan Muttaqi. He is the first who is visited from the Central Asian countries for the recognizing, just making some establishing of the cooperation with the Taliban. So in this term I would like to have a question to both of the ambassadors. So what do you think about the role of the Central Asian countries, especially Uzbekistan and Kyrgyzstan, in this peace talk negotiations? Please, your opinion.
Thank you. I would like also to invite Professor Insinyur Dr. Ahmad Faizul. Professor Insinyur Dr. Ahmad Faizul, because you are Brother Gul Badshah also, you ready now? Please. Okay. Professor Insinyur Dr. Ahmad Faizul. Please, Prof. Proceed.
Okay, thank you very much. My question to His Excellency is about the trust of the people of Afghanistan, especially under Taliban rule, towards the foreign countries now. I think in the past 20 years, maybe most of the development was in the urban areas, with huge investment from US and EU countries. But now it seems that the rural people are still underdeveloped, and they are beginning to realize that they have been ruled by Taliban. But the problem is, as before, from my experience with Abim 20 years ago, when we were there, the Afghan people, they only trusted certain people, and they mistrust a lot of foreigners, especially the Europeans. They even burned some of the UN aid vehicles because of mistrust. So how do Muslim countries develop this trust from the Afghan people, especially the Taliban, who represent the rural people, and the rural people form the main class of the Afghan people? That's my question. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So I would like to give to Her Excellency Amna Baloch to respond, and perhaps you can conclude your session today, please. You need to unmute first, madam.
Sorry, I keep doing that. Okay. So the first question pertained to the role of Central Asian countries in the peace process. We have seen that the Central Asian countries are already engaged in the developments that are taking place in Afghanistan, because we all are important stakeholders, whether we are from Central Asia or whether we are from South Asia or we are from Middle East. It is very important for us to ensure that peace comes to our region, because the dividends would be high for everyone. Some of the Central Asian countries, as we know, that they're landlocked. With the settling down of Afghanistan, the trade can smoothly take place, and it will be economically beneficial for all. It will alleviate poverty from the region. And these are the main issues that are being faced by the people of these regions. So, so I can see that Turkmenistan, Tajikistan, especially those countries that are bordering Afghanistan, they're involved, and they are very active in pursuing all objectives that pertain to bringing sustainable peace in Afghanistan. So having said that, I think the next question, sorry, can you please help me recall the question? That was the last question. There was one on the role of Central Asian countries in the peace process, and my brother who spoke the last.
Professor?
My question was about the trust of the Afghan people. Especially the trust. How do you develop a trust, their trust towards us, towards the Muslim and towards the foreign countries who are trying to help them? If they do not trust us, I think they will not accept us, no matter what we try to give them.
Brother, trust is something that has to be gained over a certain period of time. It is not something that can be achieved overnight. Especially during the COVID, we have all seen that whenever there is a crisis, we become suspicious of the foreigners. So there is a crisis in Afghanistan, and to tell you the truth, they have all the reason not to trust people, because their country remained a victim of terrorism and so many hardships over the past 40 years. So this trust will come with the passage of time, and trust will develop when the words are matched with the actions. So there's a heavy responsibility as the neighbors of Afghanistan, and then as members of Muslim Ummah and the international community, that our actions should match our words. That is how the trust will develop.
Thank you. Now I'm giving the floor to His Excellency Fahad Kafut to respond and give your conclusive remark.
Well, I don't have a lot to add to my sister, Her Excellency. She already spoke about it. Only Dr. Ahmed, when he mentioned that
recording stopped.
The Afghani cannot trust the Western country. It's good opportunity for Muslim country like Malaysia to work.
Recording in progress.
To start working there. I'm happy that Global Peace and Mercy Malaysia already started providing human aids there, but we need to continue. We need your not only to send some urgent medical equipment. It's also they need your experience. They need your help. Maybe I forgot to mention that when we re-operate the Kabul airport, we co-work with the Malaysian company. They help us to reopen the airport. So this is one example of what Malaysia can do. providing the security. Now maybe the security is very important. Their stability very important. So they need to listen to you. It's not about just a batch, send a number of batches or a couple of tons of food aids. They need your help. They need your experience. Thank you, Raj.
Thank you so much to Ambassador from Pakistan and Qatar. While we're having a discussion, of course, we receive many information and many updates from those I think previously have done many significant effort to help and assist our brother, dear brother in Afghanistan. For information with me right now is one of the books published in 1989. The title of this book is Dawn for a New Era, published by Untitled Islam Malaysia, ABIM. And at the same time also we received many information saying that MADI is basically our agriculture agency who are doing some project to assist Afghanistan in 2010 and 2011 with the funding from International Development Bank. But with regard to this issue also, I received pictures saying that a technical mission, a meeting with the Professor Abdul Rasul, Prime Minister of Afghanistan, during that time in 1991, and the paper from the Tenaga Nasional, I think Brother Jamaluddin, who was the previous moderator just now, I think he also did involve in this, the reconstruction of electricity supply infrastructure of Afghanistan. So this is basically somehow we say that we need to do something as a friendly countries, as a Muslim brothers and sisters. Most importantly for us, we believe that we must stop the irresponsible policy of imposing so-called alien values from the outside. This is basically in line with the statement made earlier by our Foreign Minister, Dato' Saifuddin Abdullah. He said that two important point that we should we should not repeat the same mistakes of others by imposing our views on Afghanistan. Secondly, he mentioned that we should not allow another superpower to invade Afghanistan due to its rich resources. Thus, we believe that by having Kuala Lumpur conference today is very significant. Malaysia is doing something that is very significant with regard to our country. We try to re-establish the new Afghanistan and the engagement and collaboration with various stakeholders like academicians, activists, NGOs, international platform like OIC, UN to establish lasting peace in Afghanistan. Brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to inform that we are trying on behalf of the organizer, we try to get our team now in Kabul to be live together with us so that they can somehow give us some fresh update from the ground. But unfortunately, due to technical issue, perhaps they could not join us, unfortunately. But we will update our program activities to our Facebook page, Global Peace Mission Malaysia, as well as our partners on the ground together with Muslim Volunteer Malaysia who are together with us. So once again, I would like to extend our gratitude and thanks to both ambassadors from Pakistan and Qatar. Hopefully, we can have more engagement, more interaction, and your insight basically is very informative for us to understand your country roles in terms of helping and assisting Afghanistan. Brothers and sisters, I think the session almost finished. Before we give and I hand over the session to the President of ABIM, Brother Muhammad Faisal Abdul Aziz, on behalf of the organizing committee, we would like to read out our recommendation, our solution for this today KL conference on Afghanistan. So if that okay with every one of you, I think this is basically from the discussion that we have throughout the day. We are trying, maybe perhaps we can publish another round, another version of book, Afghanistan, Dawn of New Era, perhaps for the next publish with the we call story from the ground, especially from our mission who are now in Kabul.
Thank you to Mr. Maklumat Samsudin for the presentation of the solution for our today's conference, as well as leading our final session, the fifth session of today's conference. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, by all good things, our conference today has come to the end, and we intend to leave you with an incomparable memory. To help me with that, I would love to welcome the President of Angkatan Belia Islam Malaysia, ABIM, Mr. Muhammad Faisal bin Abdul Aziz, for our closing speech. Please welcome Mr. Muhammad Faisal.
Auzubillahi minasyaitonirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Brother Firdaus, respected Guru Tan Sri Sahimat Alba, distinguished speakers, diplomats, His Excellency Mr. Fahd bin Muhammad Kafur, Ambassador of Qatar in Malaysia, Her Excellency Amna Balok, High Commissioner of Pakistan in Malaysia, Datuk Ahmad Azam Abdul Rahman, Prof. Hashim Kamali, distinguished guests, and all participants in this conference. First of all, please allow me to extend our utmost gratitude to all, especially the distinguished panel speakers in making this event a success. This is a very important event, perhaps historical event in Malaysia, in establishing a new narrative or new way forward in terms of relationship between Malaysia and Afghanistan in the future. But anyway, the explicit objective that we are holding on to in this event or initiative, of course, for the sake of helping the people of Afghanistan, regardless of races, religions, genders, or political ideologies. So that's why ABIM and GPM, we're trying to explore as many avenues as we can to help to rebuild Afghanistan. And of course, in many fields like education for women and children, local economic empowerment, humanitarian aids, and psychosocial support system. And just now mentioned by Brother Fahmi, our team, Alhamdulillah, have safely arrived in Kabul last Friday, but we cannot have air time with them due to certain circumstances. Guided by these principles that I mentioned, to save or to help the Afghan people. So it is timely for us and for the government of Malaysia in particular to take more proactive actions, especially in establishing contacts or engaging with the Afghan people or Afghan authority. For example, exploring more collaborative effort, and also not to isolate them. And I agree with Dr. Roy just now said, instead of isolating Afghanistan, we need to do something to help Afghanistan people by engaging with the ruling government. And I echo with Tan Sri Sahimat Alba as well. It is a need for us to give time to the current ruling government to prove themselves and to stabilize the country instead of just isolating them and then giving more problems like the influx of refugees and so on. But of course, we have to be cautious when we talk about engaging with Afghanistan ruling government. It does not mean that we are all for whatever the current government is doing. So the the balanced path that we can do is transparency. So for us, when we talk about engaging with the authority of Afghanistan, transparency matters. So when we talk about collaborative efforts between Malaysian government and Afghanistan authority, it need to be transparent enough. To what extent of collaborative effort that we want to do, the time frame, the framework, the objective, all have to be on the table so that people will know transparently, the engagement activism between Malaysian government and Afghanistan authority. Besides pointing out on the issue of peaceful coexistence, as what was discussed by, I think, Dr. Fadullah Bilmut, and also Sister Fauzia and Tan Sri Hamid as well, pointed out just now. Malaysia and Afghanistan, we share the same religion, sentiments in terms of religion of Islam, and universally, I think all of us agree that Islam is a religion of peace, and I'm optimistic that we can promote the idea of peaceful coexistence together, at least by nurturing the interaction between scholars in Malaysia and Afghanistan. And in fact, now in Malaysia, we have Afghanistan scholars, prominent scholars, Professor Kamali, he can play his role in promoting the idea of peaceful coexistence, Islam, to preserve the fundamental rights, the justice, and to celebrate diversity fairly and so on. And apart from that, the most important thing that I want to highlight, Malaysia, we are a sovereign country, we are independent country, and we are not bound at all to any external narrative, even in fact by superpower, regardless of China or US, in decision-making process, especially in establishing bilateral relationship with certain countries. So we are sovereign countries, we have our own autonomy to decide. And of course, I do believe that this principle is shared by our friend in Pakistan, from Qatar, from Bangladesh, and many countries that is defined under the middle power countries. And Malaysia, I have to emphasize that we are middle power countries. Yes, of course, we are not superpower countries, but we are middle power countries. We have our own unique system, unique foreign policy, middle power foreign policy. And what is middle power foreign policy? Perhaps Hamid Alba can elaborate more. At least to be more proactive in reducing conflict in the world system. So under this spirit of middle power countries like Malaysia, and I do believe Qatar and our friends as well, we need to mobilize our effort. We need to chart our own narrative instead of being consumed by or being bound to the external or the superpower narrative in establishing relationship with the countries. And otherwise, as long as we are bound to the political game of superpowers, our effort to establish, to empower the international communities to uplift or uphold the international justice will remain stagnant. And at the same time, continuously marginalizing Afghanistan will worsen many crises. The refugees issue will, and also apart from perpetuating regression, and of course, it doesn't help to fix our shared common ecosystem as an international community in the future. So, last but not least, it is hope. We really hope that this kind of conference on Afghanistan will shed some light and will give some enlightenment on the way forward, what we are going to do in the future to help Afghan people, and what kind of narrative that we want to build, as opposed to the political game or narrative played by superpower. And instead of just being wait and see due to overcautious sentiment. So inshallah, thank you very much. Thank you all who participated in this event. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Mr. Faisal Abdul Aziz, President of Hubbing, for the closing speech. Excellencies, distinguished guests, participants, and ladies and gentlemen. We have had a productive discussion today, an inspiring time together, and this event about to come to the very end. I hope that you found the presentation on this conference informative and helpful, and can give benefits to all of the audience for today. On behalf of Global Peace Mission GPM, I would like to express 1,000 thanks to our outstanding speakers for all the knowledge that has been imparted today. And to you, our brilliant audience, without which this kind of event could never be realized, for the energy you bring to today's conference. We will meet again, perhaps in the next conference. May all of you have a great weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and thank you.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.